And now, in layman's terms, presents Neuropathway Development, created by myself, Deb Lehman, and I've adapted it from Dan Siegel's title of work and, of course, the meanderings of my noodle. Let's begin. This is your brain. Think of your neural pathways as like roads that are developed to teach your body how to do all the things, your brain to do all the things, your thinking, your senses, all the things. And the way that those neural pathways develop is from the back of your brain to the front of your brain, and then from the inside of your brain to the outside of your brain. The way that I talk to my clients about this is that I just say, okay, picture that the back of your brain and the inside of your brain is like your house. You've constructed your house, but you want to leave your house at some point, am I right? And so you develop roads or neural pathways that help you get out of your neighborhood, and perhaps you get to explore your town. And then hopefully you develop even more pathways that you get to explore your state, right? And then eventually your neural pathways create these roads that help you explore the entire continental United States, if you will. This is, of course, just a picture of Colorado, but you're welcome, everyone. So let me just give you a quick overview of how your neural pathways develop in your brain. If we start here, this is when you're in the womb and you've just started these little baby cells. And the very first section of your brain that develops, the back and the inside, are the things that I call automatic. These are the things that are controlled automatically, like breathing and heart rate. This is kind of like the structure of your house, or your house. Maybe it isn't all, decorated and all that, but it's the basic structure of your house. I call them automatic because you don't really have to think about breathing or heart rate. You just automatically do it. The next section that develops is the semi-automatic things. And those are things like pottying and sleep and hunger. Those are things you automatically come knowing how to do. You know how to be hungry and thirsty and sleep. But eventually you're able to navigate and manage those urges. So now we have roads out of our neighborhood and maybe into our town. The third section that is developed is the limbic system. This is kind of the core, the very central part of your brain. And this is where we actually get to go across the state, ladies and gentlemen. It's exciting. And the very last section that develops is the prefrontal cortex. And now, everyone, we are mobile across the country. These are the things like knowledge and insight and judgment. And these are the very, very outside and front parts of our brain, if you will. This is the image that I use with my clients. This is an image that has been directly adapted from Dan Siegel's title of work in a couple seminars that I've taken in the past. And the reason they use the image of an upside down triangle is just to give you a picture of how big or long the neural pathways are as they go from the back and inside of your brain all the way to the front of your brain. The farther out you go, the bigger the roads, so to speak, which is why I use the metaphor of a house all the way to roads going cross country. So the first section that develops is the automatic, your house. Things like breathing and heart rate, temperature, blood pressure. They're automatic because you don't really have to think about doing them, you just do them. And then the next section is we get to go out of your neighborhood and into your town, and that's the semi-automatic. These are things like hunger and thirst and sleep, pottying and libido. The reason I call these semi-automatic is because you learn how to navigate the cues throughout your life. When you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you need sleep. But when you come out of the womb, you just know how to do them. You don't know how to manage and regulate the cues. You just know that they exist, and so your parents help you do that. And then the next section is the limbic system. And this is where emotion, regulation, attachment, social skills, and self-regulation happen. This is now we're going across the state. Finally, we get to travel the country in our prefrontal cortex. And this is where insight, judgment, knowledge and language, focus and attention are. The roads are very linear. They go from the back to the front, inside to out. The reason I say this is so important. So because your neural pathways are very linearly developed, it makes sense that each section affects one another. For example, let's just say you're not breathing. Well, does it really matter If you know something, no. It doesn't matter if you have any insight. It doesn't matter if you have any judgment. It doesn't matter at all. If you're not breathing, nothing else matters. If you're hungry, what do they say you are? They say you're hangry, because it's very difficult to emotion regulate when you're hungry. If you're going to crap your pants, social skills go out the window, do they not? Yes, they do. So do you see the relation between each section of your brain? The reason I say this is because a lot of times anxiety has the same physiological effects as hunger, as thirst, as needing to go to the bathroom. And so we might think we're emotionally dysregulated. However, are we hungry? Are we thirsty? And so if your resting heart rate is right when you wake up in the morning. It is not throughout the day. It is literally right when you wake up in the morning. Mine is, I think, 56, 57. So if my heart rate is 30 beats per minute, higher than my resting heart rate, so around 87 to 90, then I know that something is going on. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Do I need to go to the bathroom? I tell my clients, take care of those things first, because a lot of times that will assuage your anxiety symptoms. It will get your heart rate back. It'll get your blood pressure down and get your breathing back to normal. If you do have a snack, if you get a drink, if you know you don't have to use the bathroom, then what's going on? Do you need to regulate yourself? Do you need to self-soothe? Do you need to use your coping skills? What's going on? Are you anxious? Perhaps. Are you scared? Perhaps. Because only then, when you can regulate each section, does it matter what you know. How many of you, when you have anxiety, it's like you can't find your logic. You can't find insight and judgment or knowledge. Well, yeah, because your road is blocked. So the reason that I say that your roads in your brain are kind of like your house and how you navigate the world. If you can't get out of your neighborhood, it doesn't matter what's in your town or in the state or across the country. If you can't get out of your town, it doesn't matter what's across the state. If you can't get out of your state, who cares what's going on outside in the world? You don't know that. You can't access it. And so I teach my clients this because I say, okay, what's going on when you start to feel your heart rate be up? It's such a subtle cue when your heart rate is between 85 to 95. It's very subtle. You may not even notice that. So start paying attention to that, because then you actually can start to curb some of those anxiety symptoms quicker, because you're starting to pay attention to your body's cues to tell you what's going on. I hope all of this made sense to you all. Please, please, please send me a message, drop a comment. I don't really know. I'm not a millennial. I'm a Gen X. I don't understand how y'all do all these things. However, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I would just ask that you would follow us wherever we are. Really, just follow me. Let's be real. On Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Ooh, I have a TikTok. I can't believe it. This Gen X has a TikTok. I can't believe it. Anyway, please follow us. I'll be starting a YouTube channel soon. And thank you so much for watching.